How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I
Pretty
love me a
good,
man
pretty
in a
good.
suit.
And
Okay.
what if I, 911 the baby goat, told you that as a man, it is that easy to get your foot in the door with almost any woman you want? The way I see it, when it comes to image, there are essentially three pillars that determine how a person would generally perceive you, which is important because a person's perception of you is a direct correlation to how they will treat you. You have your ethnical image, your gender-based image, and your personal image. Of these three images, you only have direct control over one of them. But let me first explain what each of these are and why they are important. Your ethnical image. This is the image and branding that's given to you based off of your racial background or skin color. Your ethnical image is how people are going to perceive you based solely on the stereotypes given to you based on what people who look like you have done in the past. Sometimes this can work in your favor or against you. For example, someone outside of the black community may be quicker to assume that a black man has a large penis solely because he is black, which is a brand he could use in his favor. But in the same breath, someone could also assume that this same black man had no father in his life and is destined to be a thug or a hoodlum solely because of his ethnicity. Or better yet, here's one most people have heard of: the angry black woman trope. In fact, this perception has some black women by the neck so heavy, many are afraid to show any signs of annoyance just so they won't be labeled the angry black woman, even though being angry is a natural human emotion and response. Second, you have your gender-based image. This is what people expect of you based solely on your gender. If you are a man, you're supposed to hold the door open for a woman, or if you're a woman, you're slut-shamed for having multiple bodies while the man is praised for the same feat. The third in this trio is your personal image. This is arguably the most important of the three because this is the only one you have full control over and can use it to combat the negative stereotypes inherited to you from your ethnical and your gender image. Your personal image stretches from the things you say, your online footprint, the way you walk, your accomplishments or lack thereof, and arguably the most overlooked component, the way you dress. The clothes that you wear as a man sends a message to the world of who you are and how you should be treated. Human beings, women in particular, judge books by its cover. It's not about whether it's morally right or wrong, it's about the reality of what is. Judging books by their cover is how the human brain makes sense of all of the information it takes in from the world. Stay with me because I'm about to bring this all to home base. So recently I was featured as a guest on a popular relationship YouTuber known as Melly Monaco. On her live show, The Lover's Hotline, she offers both men and women the opportunity to call in with a question about a personal relationship issue they are experiencing for an additional perspective. And like I do normally in my personal life, I was preaching the importance of image to one gentleman and I proceeded to ask him what is the most formal shoe that he would have for a date in his closet. I'm gonna play the clip for some context.
A beach party not too long ago, and I got like 9, 10 numbers. It was cool. I went to the club and I got like 3 or 4 more extra numbers, and then I text them all like probably a day later or something like that. Nobody replies, and then it's like nobody. I don't get it. I don't get what, like, and this is kind of like a cycle like that with me.
Well, first off, I think you need to understand why they're not responding. I mean, shit, Mel, if I ask you right now how many messages you got in your Instagram, it probably couldn't even count it on both hands. Because women got their pick of the litter, right? So It gets down to a point where you got so many options, you tend to only going to pay attention to what strikes your fancy the most. Because I guarantee you, if Drake would have got it, I hate to keep using Drake, but I guarantee you, if Drake would have got it, I guarantee you, Drake would have got a goddamn number. She would fucking respond back. So I think the thing that you got to do is you got to figure out how to separate yourself from the competition of men to be somebody who she wants to respond back to. Right. You know what I mean? Because the more you blend in, the more you're going to get blend in ass results. And blend in ass results is just that. You get a whole bunch of flakiness. You get a whole bunch of on and off. You get a whole bunch of I'll do it later. You get what I mean? Okay. I think you got to figure out a way to separate yourself from the competition. You need to figure out a way to be a woman's local celebrity. Men underestimate how much the power of image is. You know what I mean? Like, what's the most formal shoe that you have in your closet? Because if it's some goddamn New Balances or Jordans, that's a problem. You blending in. You're not standing out.
It's Jordans.
You know, hell no. Because if she really likes you, what women do when they really like you, they get a lot more feminine and they get a lot more girly. They're not gonna come to the date in no damn jeans. They really like you. They're gonna come hair did, makeup did, in a nice ass dress. and you rewarding them by coming in some goddamn Jordans. Get upgrade your visual. I'm not saying you gotta be in a two-piece suit. You don't even gotta wear a jacket if you don't want to. Just upgrade your formality a little bit, because you're gonna stand out, because most men don't want to do it. Let's just say if you do got on a nice tailored suit, you walk up in that motherfucker with a nice suit, button open, you know, good smell good, whatever the case may be. Your formal shoes are clicking and clacking and shit all over the damn floor. When the dude that's sitting beside the other girls at the same restaurant wearing DJ Khaled clothes and shit, like, you're gonna make her look good by association. The power of image is a motherfucker, and it's a tool that so many men are sleeping on. And I don't think they understand how much women actually are like desire that.
You right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is no disrespect to this brother personally, but I'm using it to drive a point. As a man, your image is a tool that you should be using to your advantage in any situation in life. This particular video is just focused on women and dating. Too many black men have a pair of Jordans or Air Force Ones as their most formal shoe in their closet. In fact, fuck a date. Most men wouldn't even have a well-tailored suit in their closet ready for a funeral. Your goddamn grandmama could die tomorrow and you be at a funeral in a damn graphic tee and some Pumas. Make no mistake, your image is something that only gets your foot in the door. But considering that getting your foot in the door is the very first step to entering the building, I think that's reason enough for you to understand the emphasis on just why upgrading the formality of your image is so important. So, you knew it was coming. Suits. Why are suits important? In all honesty, it's not just about suits. It's more about a matured, uniformed appearance. But considering a suit is the pinnacle of the uniformed appearance, let's start there. What makes a suit so important? A suit is a symbol of maturity, masculinity, leadership, sophistication, wealth, competence, and if done tastefully, style. Why do all of these attributes matter? Because it demands the most vital component that a man needs to have a healthy and intimate interaction with a woman: respect. In the West, the average woman does not have a courteous level of respect for the average man. And respect is a precursor to attraction, cooperation, and quite frankly, everything men love about women. But the opposite applies when a woman does not respect a man. Women typically lose attraction, lose cooperation, and lose the overall sense of human decency when they don't respect a man. The problem is, respect is earned. And too many men believe it should be given for free or solely because they have a stable job, or even worse, because they are a nice guy. It's time to get your head out your ass. The mistake too many men make is focusing on what they believe women should respect rather on what it is they do respect. And yes, I'm using generalities here because nothing is absolute in life but death and taxes. But generally speaking, a well-groomed and well-mannered man in a suit is considered extremely, emphasis on extremely, attractive in men. A suit to a woman, gentlemen, is the equivalent to a woman in lingerie for us. As stated earlier, maturity, masculinity, leadership, sophistication, wealth, and competence, all of these draw respect from women, which draws initial interest and, you guessed it, attraction. Too many men in the black community are repulsed by the idea of dressing up in a suit. They associate it with as many negative connotations as they possibly can. They're so concerned that it will make them look like a preacher or a square or a Carlton Banks or Steve Urkel archetype. Or my personal favorite, you're stealing Kevin Samuel's style, because apparently he owned the trademarks for suits when it comes to black men. Let me ask you, was Martin Luther King Jr. a square to you? Or how about Malcolm X? Frederick Douglass? Is this too old school? How about President Barack Obama? Love, hate, or indifferent about these men, the one thing they had in common was that they were leaders and wore the uniform of a leader. Before this video, if I were to ask you to think of any one of these gentlemen, I'm confident you would have imagined them in a suit. And again, so many men think because you're wearing a suit that makes you corny. No, being corny makes you corny.
To the beach shore and Scooby snacks. I met a fly girl and I can't relax.
Black men, do you find Ghost from Power corny? Do you find Jeffrey from Bel Air corny? Let's take it to real life. Do you find The Rock Dwayne Johnson corny? Does he come off as somebody who you could try to bully?
Hell no.
How about Idris Elba? Black men are sold streetwear in our music, television, and all other forms of media. The problem is, the very men that are selling you the thug life entertainment and basketball shoes for fashion is wearing the very thing you everyday men find corny. a suit. Thinking a suit is corny is a flawed perspective, but I would also argue that the reason that black men have this perspective is due to what has been advertised to us in our community's ethnical image. Black men are the only group of men that make negative connotations to a suit because most of us have not been exposed to successful black men in suits in real life. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you scrolled down the Upper East Side of New York City, or the Brickell City Center in Miami, or the fine dining and shopping areas of Beverly Hills, California? You will see successful men of many racial backgrounds dressed to part. And whether they are in a suit or not, typically the formality is higher than that of common streetwear and urban wear. And to go along with that, the women in these areas naturally present themselves more feminine and ladylike in the presence of the masculine men. You will see women with less jeans and Balenciagas and more dresses, heels, and lipstick. Look at this video, for example, on another dating show hosted by, once again, Melly Monaco. Shout out to her because her content makes for an excellent case study on men and women. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't believe this guy stood a chance in hell, but notice the reaction that his old ass was given simply because he was wearing a dress shirt and a jacket. Hell, even the host was impressed.
Let's see, we got Cameron Fields. Hi, sir.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I love me a
good,
man in
pretty
a
good.
suit. Okay.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, Ghost.
Upgrading your formality is such a simple action that literally any man could do that could get his foot in the door with a larger selection of women, provided, of course, that you come with good hygiene, grooming, and a mature demeanor. But the problem is, most men are too indoctrinated and afraid to step outside of their comfort zone to make the decision to improve their wardrobe. And though I do believe that that is something that men should do for themselves, in this case, in this video, is to help you get women. And for my contrarians out there that want to say corny shit like, it's the man that makes the clothes, not the clothes that make the man, please shut the hell up. There are multiple things that go into making a respectable man, but the most overlooked component is definitely his image. When I was younger, I would go fishing in local ponds with my parents and siblings. Now, because of how much cheaper worms were to buy in the store in comparison to crickets, unlike my family, I normally bought the worms. They normally bought the crickets. Also, I believe the worms were easier to hook on my rod in comparison to the crickets. Anyway, when it came down to fishing, I noticed that my success rate at getting fish to bite the hook was significantly lower than my parents and siblings who used the crickets. Sure, I had a successful bite here and there, but ultimately, for whatever reason, more fish, and oftentimes bigger fish, preferred the crickets over the worms. And some class of fish didn't entertain the worms at all to begin with. It is no different with women and men. How you present yourself is essentially the bait that you place into the dating market. And what you will find is that when you switch your appearance, you would not only have a higher success rate with more women in quantity, but also quality. Sure, you will have some group of women who will perceive you as too bougie, or will share a similar ignorant mindset in that you are too square and that they prefer a street thug or a hood guy. But in all honesty, those women rejecting you are doing you a favor. Hopefully, as a man that is going somewhere in life, you want better quality women in your life in the first place. Not that immature bullshit you've been dealing with your whole life to begin with. We see our favorite rap artists and celebrities setting all types of urban trends on a regular basis. And in doing that, as an audience, we witness the overwhelming amount of apparent status, respect, and worship they receive from both men and women alike. So we assume that if we dress like our favorite celebrity, that we will receive similar results to them in the dating world. Newsflash, as you get older, you will start to see diminishing returns on chasing those trends. Drake can wear whatever the hell he wants to because he's Drake. His status speaks for itself. When he wears an iced out chain, he's stunting. When you do it, you're playing pretend. But rest assured, even when someone like Drake or any other celebrity is in the right company, they will dress to part. When you as a man have the status and the money to make your own rules, you can wear whatever clothes you want. Your clothes do not have to work as hard for you because your value as a man is apparent. When you are not a public figure or celebrity, you have to play by the rules. What we as people associate with success, wealth, and status traditionally in the West is a well-mannered man in a suit. In all honesty, for a man, dressing urban and following trends may work for you when you're younger and you're dealing with younger women whose mind is more adolescent in its thinking. But women's priority and judgment of status and character changes as they get older. I would say roughly around the ages of 27 and up. And while graphic tees and Jordans were more attractive in your youthful younger 20s as a man, they are now perceived as childish and immature in your older age. I I would say probably around the ages of 29 and up, possibly 27 and up. Is this me saying that without a suit, it is impossible for an older man to get a woman? No, hell no. But what I am saying is you are limiting your opportunities and making a swim upstream rather than downstream. A typical woman's hypergamy has a tendency to mature as she gets older. And for those that don't know what hypergamy is, it's essentially a dating strategy most commonly associated with women to date someone who she views as superior to herself in height, strength, status, money, judgment, and direction to increase the probability of a more secure future for herself and her future or current offspring. So in other words, she dates up so she can live it up. And with her prioritization in hypergamy getting more mature, she expects a man to follow suit. You see what I did there? Follow suit, whatever. Do you agree or disagree with me? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section below, and please tag your fellow man. I would love to see what they have to say about this as well. 9/11 the baby go. Thank you so much for joining the Go Farm. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.